Hi there, welcome to Along the Towpath. Today I'm joined by the brilliant Stephen Brown. We talk about consistency, we talk about accountability, we talk about charity, and even how he saved a life. Hope you enjoy. Welcome, Stephen.
Thank you.
Making the long journey. Where have you come from today?
I've come from North London. It's
North
a nice
London.
2.5 hour journey.
Well, not too bad, hopefully. Well, thank you for coming all this way and joining us along the towpath today. So why don't you introduce yourself? Who are you and how would we know you?
I've been asking that question for a number of years. Who am I? So my name is Stephen Brown. I work with estate agents and letting agents nationwide. 3 simple aims, whoever I work with, I just want to generate more revenue for them. I want them to be more profitable and I want them to be better versions of themselves. I started off, I left school and went into commercial agents. I made tea and coffee and loads of photocopying. And funnily enough, I ended up working at the same time with Paul Kemsley, so who's doing all right for himself now. Yeah. And then from there, I was there a couple of years. Then I went into another investment agent. Then I was looking to qualify as a charter surveyor. I got made redundant. I set up a little business, and then my dad passed away. And then I ended up going to work at Green & Co in northwest London. Started off as a negotiator. Great claim to fame. I never sold a property for the first 9 months.
First 9 months?
First 9 months. No laughing, thank you.
You have to work quite hard at that.
So all I would say is there's hope for people out there.
And look where you are now. Yeah.
So, but my excuse, and the only excuse I ever make, is the market was incredibly challenging at the times. And
dare I ask what year that was?
No, because I can't remember. I'm so old, I can't remember what I did. But property prices in London at that time, people who were bought for 100,000 were struggling to sell them for 60,000.
Oh, dear me.
So, unfortunately, it then clicked. And 14 months later, I got made branch manager.
Wow.
A couple of years later, I got made one of the directors. And then I ended up looking after all the systems and processes and training of 100 colleagues. And then sadly, my wife was diagnosed with cancer. And I ended up working part-time for 9 months. And then she needed more major surgery. So, I just thought, in fact, I learned a big lesson that I missed out on a lot of my kids' childhood, really, going to their working. So, their sports days and stuff like that. So I then set up my own consultancy. It's coming up to 13 years now.
Wow.
And it's still going strong. So in a nutshell, that's me.
That's really interesting. You say that you do consultancy, but you do so much more than that, don't you, really? Let's be honest, you're a busy man.
I do a little bit more, so...
well, why don't we let's start at Agents Together.
Okay, so Agents Together, I'm a founder member.
Which is yourself?
Chris Watkins. I mean, in fact, you're going to hear, so I've got to be careful what I say, there's a lot coming up. We're going to have version 2. And it's coming up very soon. It's very exciting.
Very excited about that.
So really looking forward to that. Obviously, we miss Sarah Edmondson.
Of course, massively.
Sarah was the chairperson. She did the most unreal job, and absolutely incredible what she's done. There are now over 500 mentors. There are well over, I think, 1,500 people that have been mentored. The time that people have given in the industry to do it is just unreal. So
it's great.
Very, very grateful to people. I think you're a mentor as well.
Yeah. I love it. It's a phenomenal opportunity, both as a mentor and a mentee.
Yeah.
To learn and to give, but also you don't just learn when you're being a mentee. You also learn when you're a mentor as well. I found it's
100%.
phenomenal. It's been great to mentor some fantastic individuals who've gone on to do some really stunning things.
And that's a great thing. So coming back to when I was an agent, there was no collaboration.
No.
There was no help whatsoever. And actually the fact that now people are willing to give up their time to help, support, guide, and make a difference to people is fantastic. So it's great to see so much collaboration, because I know I absolutely hated estate agents in my day. And if somebody said collaborate, good luck with that.
It's quite funny seeing the lack of collaboration on the high street, but there is an industry-wide level of collaboration through agents together, isn't it? And
Yeah.
do you think there's from that, let's just pause and take a thought on that then. So on agents together, I don't want to get too bogged down into this specifically, because it's a well-rehearsed and well-talked about topic, but with agents together, I'd be really interested. I know obviously you won't divulge what's coming next, and I understand why, but that 1 to 2% of the industry that is aware of the world outside of their office front door, how do you get to the other 98%? 98%?
You've got to want to do it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't think people, when it comes to investing in themselves, I don't think here in this country people like to invest in themselves.
No.
And actually with agents together, it's the commitment is 1 hour a month, whether you're a mentee or whether you're a mentor. And that's what's crazy. You know, and if you need help, and actually the thing, and what I've learned is there are so many people struggling, but on the outside you don't see it, but on the inside they really, really feel it.
Yeah.
And I want people to understand there is support out there, there is help out there, and you know, if you are struggling, you know, it doesn't have to be agents together. There's other groups. So you've got the Women in the Estate Agency group now that does an absolutely fantastic job. You know, on the charity side, there's Agents Giving. So we just had the ball at the weekend, which I was there, which was absolutely fantastic. And it's amazing what people in the estate agency world just do. Yeah, you know, it's great. So if you're interested, just get in touch with me, and I'll put you in the right direction.
Yeah, we'll make sure the details are available for
Thank
that.
you.
It is phenomenal. I love Agents Together. I have been mentored by some phenomenal people who I would never have had access to. And well, you can pick up the phone and say, you know, can I just pick your brains for 5 minutes? And people generally say yes. But this is people who specifically give up hours of their time to say, right, what is it you want help with, and what do you want to focus on? And the beauty of it is, and you're exceptional at this, is they don't give answers, they give questions to help you arrive at the answers. And that's something which I found was fascinating being a mentee, and I learnt a lot from, that actually you can teach people so much more by not providing the answers.
I think, so this is going back to my Green & Co days, I was very shy. I was very retiring. I wouldn't say boot or goose. I enjoyed managing people. But my MD said to me, look, Stephen, I want you to learn how to properly lead people. And he belonged to a business group at the time called Tech, or Vistage.
Oh, Vistage, okay.
And he said, Stephen, I want you to come along and see what it's like. And actually, there's a session which is all on leadership. So there's a speaker in the morning, so I want you to come to the morning session. So I turned up on the morning session, and there was a speaker there, and but these were people that had businesses that were turning over between 1 million to 100 million.
Goodness me,
so
proper leaders in their class.
Proper leaders, yeah. So I'm sitting around the table, and all of a sudden the speaker goes, right, we're going to do a little exercise now. All of you are leaders of a business, as you are, and you are going away tomorrow for 6 months on a sabbatical. Okay, you have to give a speech to your team. Okay, so I oh great, because you know I don't speak. You know, I can speak in market appraisals, but I don't public speak.
Don't speak publicly if I can help.
Yeah. So my heart is absolutely pounding. I'm pouring with sweat. I'm heavy breathing. He goes around to every single person in the room, and they all do it, and then I'm the last person. And my MD's next to me, and he's like secretly thinking, Stephen, please do it. And I'm like, I really don't want to do it. And then the facilitator says, Stephen, you're a guest here, you don't have to do it. And I thought, do you know what, I'm going to do it. And I kept on frantically changing what I was going to say. And I stood up, And I'm sure out of sympathy, all of them gave me a round of applause.
Oh,
And actually, I felt amazing when
Yeah.
when I left there, because I'd done something which was out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then it took me a year to actually join, and then I joined the key person one, and that's where I had a facilitator, and the facilitator made me look at things very, very different. In fact, he was my mentor. And actually, what I learnt was that everybody knows the answer to the question. It's just how we get it out of people. So he would say to me, Stephen, you know, what's your biggest challenge? And I would say whatever it was. And then he would say, so, you know, how are you going to deal with it? And I said, I don't know. And he said, no, Stephen, if you did know, what would the answer be? And I go, no, I really don't know. And after 9 times, I actually came up with the answer. So my kids know, and if anybody knows me, that if they answer, I do not know, they know not what the next question is. If you did know, what would the answer be?
I like that. That's
So, and I'm a firm believer now that everybody knows the answer. It's up to us to try and help them to get it out there, and they will.
I like that.
Rather than being told, you know, this is how you do it.
It's because you can lead people down a path, can't you? But it's helping them discover it themselves is so much more powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So that was really helpful.
Good. Okay, so that's Agents Together.
Yeah.
Courtesy plug there, so that's good. And then we've got Agents Giving, which you talked about.
So Agents Giving, I think, is absolutely fantastic. And again, actually, you know, you talked about the 2% people that maybe only go and attend. I'm not sure, again, with Agents Giving, whether people know what's out there and what you can get. So, you know, if you're putting on a local event in your community, they can give you a grant between up to £100 to £350, depending on how much you're going to raise. So I do a little bit of charity work, and they have helped me. They've been great. But what I love is, and I don't think agents talk enough about this, is about what they do for their community.
And I think that's just pause again, because I think that's really important, isn't it? Because that's what this is ultimately about, isn't it? Obviously, it's about the sharing and the making sure that we're a little bit less selfish and a bit more selfless. But actually, we are in our communities, and therefore we should be members of our communities in more ways than just one, shouldn't we?
Definitely, and I've just written something that's going to come out in the next 2 or 3 days as to how an office branch can be more community focused.
Awesome.
So, you know, if anybody's watching this, so we'll see how many people you watch it, get in touch with me and I will welcome to send it to you. Okay, there you go.
Excellent. No, that's good. Yeah, I love that. I think it's so important, isn't it? Because we expect a lot of our communities to take trust and faith in us, and actually, why have they come on the market without, you know, phoning us? It's like, well, what are you doing to make yourself relevant and visible? And not just because you sell houses, because we can all log on to Rightmove and see who's got market share, but the mechanics behind that, how are you making yourself trustworthy?
And it is about being a trusted advisor. And actually, if you say to most people, what do you think of estate agents? Well, trust wouldn't be in the, I don't know, top 10, and that's what's quite scary. So it's how can you become more trusted?
Because if you suddenly make it a thing, then everybody else isn't, then surely you're going to be on the charts, you're going to be so much higher, aren't you?
100%, definitely.
So you mentioned about you do a little bit of charity work.
I do a little bit of charity.
Which was a very humble way of saying you do a lot of charity work. So let's talk about computers for schools.
Okay, so just before Sam passed away, we were in COVID. I had a shower about midday, as you do, very late, and there was a House of Commons was discussing about the lack of computers and what was going on, and so I shouted to Sam, just send me a WhatsApp message. I've got a couple of mastermind groups. I need to put it in a mastermind group that they need to do something with their schools now because the schools need some computers. So did that, sent it out, and a couple of people got involved. And then I was doing the Estate Agents podcast on the Sunday, and there was a guest there, Jerry Lyons, and he tried to nick my idea, but I wasn't having anything of that. And actually I said to Jerry, you know, why don't we sort out where the suppliers get involved, not just estate agents. So he said, look, I'll help you with the PR and stuff like that. So thank you, Jerry, because if it wasn't for you, this idea really wouldn't have got off the ground. So Jerry said to me, we set up a GoFundMe page, and he said, so how much do you want to raise? £10,000. So I thought, no, let's think big. So let's go 50,000. So started doing it, got some great donations from some great companies, and I got to 48,000, and then on the day that Sam passed away, two people donated £1,000, so we hit 50,000,
wow.
which was absolutely incredible and absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So I was really chuffed with that.
So how many have you donated now?
Okay, so we have now raised just under £154,000.
Goodness me.
And 1,490, I think 3 or 4 have been donated to schools up and down the country. And I am very fortunate that, so long and the short of it, I got to about 70,000 and then it just like stopped.
Oh, really?
And then I thought, right, I've got to find a way, because I publicly said that I wanted to hit 200,000.
Yep.
So
that's quite a big goal, isn't it?
Yeah. Think big.
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
Big.
Yeah.
So, and
no
actually,
point trying to do good for people if you're not going to go full at it.
And there's a lesson there. And so I got another question for you to ask me. Ask me about John McGrath and thinking big in a minute, but we'll come back to that. So okay. Got to 70,000, and I thought I've got to find a way in order to do that. And one of the ways that I thought was, let's speak to agents, and if you sell a property, would you donate £10 per sale? And then for every donation you make, so if you donate 60 quid to the computer for schools, I'll send you a tablet and you give it to a school of your choice. Or if you donate, make 20 sales, you donate £200, I'll give you a laptop. And again, that took off. So now I've got a few agents every month that consistently send me money, and then I send it back.
Amazing.
And then what's happened, and what's quite scary, is that then goes, so some of them put a Facebook page, you know, we were involved with this computer for schools. We're involved with this computer for schools.
Morning.
Hello.
Hello.
You're welcome. So I'm involved, you know, we've got involved with this computer schools campaign.
Yep.
Are there any schools that you're worthwhile?
Tends to go well, that, doesn't it?
Oh my words. This one recently, an agency down in the Sussex area did it. I think he had over 600 shares.
Goodness me.
And the comments. So that's quite
fantastic, isn't it?
It is.
And that's what we're talking about, isn't it? Being in the community.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
So you know, obviously that's
free.
That is, yeah. So
I mean,
that's,
you know, it doesn't cost anything.
No, and that's incredible.
Wow.
And then I also got involved as a result of this. So Yvonne at Agents Giving introduced me to an incredible 17-year-old called Daniel Lloyd.
Okay.
And Daniel started off a campaign called Marcus for Mindfulness.
Okay.
Because sadly his best friend at 14 died by suicide because there wasn't any wellbeing provisions in the school.
Right.
So Daniel came up with an absolutely exceptional idea where he would bring loads of stationery into schools, and the money that the school would save on their budget, they would then use that to give a well-being to the children.
Oh wow.
So
That's
I
amazing.
brought that into Barnet and Barnet Walking Football Team, and we managed to collect stuff, and then I've got other businesses involved. So I've been into about 35 schools in my local area. And actually it's really scary what's going in. So, you know, if any agents watching this and you're stuck with what should I do with a community, go into local schools, find out what resources they need, and again, I can send you, exactly what they need.
Yeah, we'll make sure what's available.
So literally, papers being rationed at schools.
Wow, good.
Kids are going into school without being fed. Teachers are buying stuff out of their own pocket. And it's really sad. I've had head teachers that have been there for 30 years that have been crying their eyes out because literally their roof has had a leak and they've got fined £300,000
It's just crazy,
and
isn't it?
stuff like that.
If only we had a society that paid taxes that would help people in these things. So politics, we don't do politics.
Okay, well the government's very clever, okay, because what they do is they give pay rises to the teacher, but the pay rises come out of their budget, so they have to find it in other ways.
Very clever.
So they don't really get pay rises.
Yes.
So, and it's the kids that are suffering. So
They are, yeah.
So again, go to your local schools, have conversations with them, see what they need, and you can make a massive, massive difference. And actually, you work with loads of local businesses that may be rebranding. There's loads of banks, sadly, that are going out of business. But go to these banks, because I've done stuff with Barclays, where I've got all their photocopying paper and stuff like that. Originally, they told
really
me
interesting.
they just put it on the pavement for people to take.
Wow.
So much stuff gets thrown away.
You'd never have thought of that, would you?
No. But, it's pens, so, you may rebrand, but they use the other side of a paper and stuff like that. So again, that's really, really important.
Clever, that.
So it's just, really going out and helping schools and making a difference.
I like that. So that's interesting, isn't it? Because that's where we talk about, again, the community and all that sort of thing. So there's two things there, isn't there? There's the sort of computers for schools, and then there's the other ways that you can assist as well. And in terms of that, what else are you doing around that? Because you're quite active in terms of the promotion of that, aren't you?
So I try and talk about it as much as I can. Local Facebook groups. It's just speaking to agents. Hopefully platforms like this will get it out. I recorded loads of videos with loads of industry people last year. Yeah. If I could tell you
Yes.
one thing. So at the moment, that's being all putting together into a book. So we're just transcribing it. Going to put it into a book.
That was great. I love that. That was awesome.
And then we're going to sell it, and all the proceeds will go to Computer for Schools.
Yeah.
And everybody who buys books, then subject to me getting enough money from it, will then get a tablet, or they will go into a drawer to get a tablet to give, or a laptop to give to a school of their choice. So
brilliant.
That's
Yes, because I enjoyed that. That was a great series that you did there. Really enjoyable. And some great people on it as well.
I've got over 200.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Wow, it's amazing.
So,
Just goes to show that we're in the power of your network, if nothing else. And I want to explore that, because that's something which I thought was really, really interesting. But when you're talking about, obviously, all the various bits and pieces that we do that we know about, but you have your lunchtime learnings. That's still a thing?
Still a thing. Over 180 people interviewed.
180 people interviewed now. Wow, that's incredible. Fantastic. And then you've also got your podcast.
Yeah, that is the podcast, and the estate agents podcast.
You also had one as well for a little while with Luke and Andy Overman, I think.
So with Luke and Andy Overman. So that may come back soon.
Yeah.
So watch this space.
We'll keep watching.
So we were most probably the first podcast in the UK.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you set the example. Didn't you?
Exactly. So now we're copied. Now we're R&D.
We have to come up with clever things to try and be different. That's the problem, Stephen.
Yeah, we're being ripped off and duplicated by absolutely everybody. Yeah. But this is very unique.
It is,
I don't know anybody else walking down the towpath.
Yeah. We can't. We've got to stick to it now, Dan. Sorry. So okay. Well, that's amazing, and I think that's testament to you. It just goes to show. I was going to start this off with the most popular man in our industry, which I think is probably yourself, to be fair.
No, I wouldn't go that
well,
far.
You wouldn't.
There's loads of other people.
There are, but anybody who's got their own fan club, Stephen, I think deserves at least a badge of some description. And it is great. I think you're one of those people in the industry that people gravitate to as well. And I find that listening to what you've just said, it's small wonder, really, isn't it? Because you do mastermind groups as well, so just explain to us what those are.
So mastermind group is
That's your business, isn't it?
Yeah, like-minded agents
Yep.
who are non-competing from up and down the country, who get together once a quarter to share ideas, share experience, understand actually it's not lonely out there.
Yeah.
Because everybody has the same challenges, you know, whether it's where do I going to get properties on, staffing issues.
Yep.
You know, everybody's got
The hive mind thing's really powerful, isn't it?
And actually, it's like having a board of non-exec directors
Love
there, helping you improve, helping you get better, and go from there.
You raised something earlier. You wanted to talk about John McGrath.
Yes.
So go big, I think, was it?
So think big.
Think big.
So
okay.
think
Don't
big.
go big or go home. Think big.
So I have followed John for years and years,
Yep.
and in my humble opinion, I think John is the best estate agent.
And for those who don't know who he is,
So he runs McGrath in Australia. You know, he's written a couple of fantastic books. He's got the podcast with Tom Panos and Troy Malcolm, the $1 Million Agent. So
Which is fantastic,
I'm
yeah.
sure most people know about it. If they don't, God knows what rock you've been living under. But I've been over with Luke Sinclair to ARIC twice. So ARIC is an Australian real estate conference. They're 5,000 to 6,000 attendees.
Good, it's amazing, big, isn't it?
It's massive.
Oh, it's a very different landscape out there, isn't there?
Yes.
So yes, I suppose it's...
And what's interesting is it's actually John puts it together. Okay.
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
and this is every competing agent there, and John's helping them, so
Wow.
to speak. So
That's amazing.
we had a 45-minute audience with John and Troy last time, but before we...
Troy Malcolm.
But before we were there, we met somebody else who worked at McGrath, Con Stroupolis. And Con, if I got this wrong, I'm sorry, because you've
Well,
got
you're gonna have to spell it, 'cause I'm gonna have to tag him in.
hard surname to pronounce. And he was telling us a story about John McGrath and what John McGrath, you know, to think big. And basically John sat down with him and he said, right, you know, where do you see the business in 10 years time? Where do you see the business in 5 years time? And Con gave him, and he said, no, I want you to think bigger.
Yeah.
So basically Con did his 10-year goal in 13 months.
Wow.
And his 5-year goal in 6 months.
Goodness me.
And then I interviewed John, and I just said, you know, if you, for one thing, so what would your one thing
Yeah.
be? And he just said, think big. So again, you know, whatever you're
Wow.
thinking, so coming back to the computer for schools, you know,
Yep.
10,000, no, not going to be 10,000. You know, it's going to be 50,000.
Yeah,
So
yeah, because
think
why not?
big. And then
Morning.
actually now, hiya.
Hello.
And actually now, you know, my thinking big is 200,000. So
Because why not?
why not?
Because if you don't set it, it's not going to happen, is it?
Exactly.
I love that. Yeah.
So again, you know, if people watching this, think about what your stretch goals are.
Yep.
You know,
Explain that a bit more.
So stretch goals is, so let's just say hypothetically you're an agent and you want to do 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, whatever your number is. Okay. So let's just say it's 200,000. Think, right, now imagine what it would be if you hit 400,000. You know, how would you feel if you hit that number? So, and then
Just sort of visualise yourself there.
Visualise yourself.
I like that.
So one of the things that I do every year is I get people to write a letter to themselves. Okay.
I like that.
So it's now December 2025. I want you to write to yourself and tell me about your year and how great it was. And
So
you know,
you write to yourself in the past tense.
So, dear Stephen, what a fantastic year I've had. I've managed to do this, and I exceeded my goals and my targets and whatever it is. If you have goals and targets, I achieved this. I went on X amount of holidays. You know, I saw my kids' sports days. You know, and then you're visualising where you want to go.
I really like that. It's quite powerful, isn't it?
It is very, very
Yeah,
powerful. The funny thing is, and I just sent some because I did this as a training course. I do it in my negotiator masterclass. and I get them to write that letter. So
Yeah.
I've just sent them out the ones that I sent a year ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so
That's a really clever
so
idea.
literally,
Oh,
they're
that's
going
really powerful.
they're going to
isn't
get these envelopes
Yeah.
with their handwriting on and going to go, that's weird.
written
That's
for
my
yourself."
handwriting. When did I do that? And then when they open it, they're going to go, ah. So
love
it'd
that.
be really interesting to see how they did, whether they hit
I
them,
think
whether they
that
exceeded
must be
them.
enormously powerful. I'd love to hear the responses on that,
Yes.
people's reactions to it, because that's for those who don't buy into that, there's a life lesson in itself, isn't it? That actually, do you know what? I've either achieved it, or actually, if I'd have just done this, I'd have got to that.
Yeah. And one of the things I've learned over the years, so we always did goals and objectives at Green & Co. every year. We got everybody to do a vision board. And that vision board will be in front of everybody. Now, I've got my old goals and objective, and I've gone through them, and I'm looking back at 2000, 2008 and onwards. And actually what I've learned is that maybe the goals I set in that first year, I didn't actually achieve. So it can be really demotivating.
Yeah.
So rather than set it for 1 year, have 1 year, 3 year, 5 year goals.
Yeah.
And then what I found
So you can
is
accrue and
yeah,
build
yeah.
and
So after
adjust.
3 years or 5 years, actually, I actually did hit those
Yeah.
goals.
That's
But
really
I didn't
powerful.
hit them when I want.
No,
when
no,
I
but
wanted.
we
But I
can't
got
plan
there
for everything, can
But
we?
I got there in the end.
Yeah, we
So-
can't plan for everything, and the most important thing is making sure that we're able to pivot or adjust or be agile enough to manoeuvre our way around those challenges, isn't it?
Very
Yeah.
much so.
Okay. So we've known each other for, I think
A few days.
a little while. I think I first met you, it's got to be 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I've really enjoyed the training sessions that I sat with you when I was at Knockdighton, and we used to put our teams through it, and it was really powerful stuff. So just give us a really short, sharp, because you don't want to give away all the tricks, of course, of what you do in your training sessions, because I think your training sessions, and I was explaining it to the guys in our office, that your training sessions are really different to everybody else's because you put them through an exercise. Talk us through that.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to come again because you said such nice words, so thank you.
This is flattery, isn't it?
Flattery will get you everywhere. So, look, most estate, or according to Street, 86% of estate agents don't have a stay in touch policy. So, unless you're a new starter, most estate agents have got a huge customer base. Every estate agent I know wants more market appraisals, but yet 95% of estate agents don't do any form of lead generation every single day, when that's the most important thing. So what I go through is for different categories of the customer base that agents should be calling. Give them some scripts, not that I want them to use them, but in their own words. And the whole aim of it is, and then we do a little bit of practice, not role play, because nobody likes role play.
Nobody likes role play.
But I want people to remember this.
However, it's a very powerful tool.
Professionals practice before they play. Okay, and I want people to understand that. So if professionals are practicing before they play, that's actually what we mean. That's role play. So
Yeah.
it's no different. And then effectively we get people to make the calls. The whole aim is for them to get one extra market appraisal. If they can get one extra market appraisal, hiya. Morning. If they can get one extra market appraisal a day, that's 250 a year. If they convert 1 in 2, that's 125 instructions. If they sell 70 and the average UK fee is £3,000, then that's an extra £210,000 worth of revenue. So why would you not be spending an hour calling your customer base and having those conversations? And then what people see when I do it live is actually this works.
Yeah.
So people are getting a return on their investment on the training course.
Which is massively powerful,
Yeah.
because you can sit there and say, look, generated that many valuations today,
Yeah.
or even sometimes an instruction on the spot.
So I've had, so the best ones have been you get market appraisals, you get instructions, you get financial service leads, you find landlords that you thought only have one property. This is a world record. somebody, I said, and this is a person that had just started, this was their first ever day, so we'd done the training, and I said, please, every single person, this was landlords, buy-to-let investors, just ask this question: is this your only property or part of a larger property empire? And when was the last? Still in your mind.
10 years, it's still
and
there.
when was the last time your letting agent offered to take you for a coffee to maximise your investment? And he asked that question, and this investor said, "I've got 768 properties." And then he phoned up his manager and said, "You're not going to believe this. I found a landlord that's got 768 properties." I said, "You might as well leave, because you're never going to have a better day than that."
Peak performance right there, isn't it?
There.
It's such a powerful training exercise. For the individual negotiators and agents as well, I thought it was really interesting because it highlighted that really small exercises can yield massive results. But also, for us as a business at the time at Knockdighton, it was fantastic because what we were able to do is implement a power hour every morning and hold people to account, which we'll come to in a minute. But it was consistency, which we'll come to in a minute. And that sort of baking that in and making sure that became a daily thing or a weekly thing. You knew exactly what you were going to be doing on those specific days. And the results were really clear because the productivity, it went up. The results, the conversion rates, they all went up. And it just made sure that people were able to be really comfortable with their accountability levels because they own it. It's their thing.
100%. I was just out on Saturday night actually at Friends, and there's a husband and wife, and they've got two different agencies, but they're not too far away.
Right.
And the wife said, "I need to speak to you." What have I done wrong? She said, "He came away from your course. He absolutely loved it. He's asked that question, and he's got loads and loads of landlords, but they're all in different places." So he goes, "Thanks very much," but literally he's pulled from pillar to post.
Oh wow!
So, but look,
but it shows it works, though.
Look, it does work. But again, as you said, it's about being consistent. Scheduling in your diary and making sure it happens. And again, one of the things from ARIC last year, they had 30 different speakers, ranging from Ryan Serhant, American, to Ryan Reynolds.
For those who don't know who Ryan Serhant is, look him up. He's a top performer.
Top performer. Yeah. So here there was 2 days of him. Ryan Reynolds also spoke, but they also had 30. The Ryan Reynolds.
Goodness me.
So it's a pretty good conference.
Yeah.
And they had loads of agents there. And they asked the question, what does it take to be a top performer? And all of them said it's about consistency and being disciplined. And if you can be consistent, and you're showing this with, your podcast, it makes a massive, massive difference. And being disciplined and scheduling stuff in your diary.
What's your phrase? What gets scheduled gets done?
What gets scheduled gets done, 100%.
Yeah.
So,
See, I did listen.
You did listen. You did listen.
I can tell you this because I say it to them and they tell me off for repeating your stuff and not having any original content in my head.
But don't most people do it? It's the, rip off and duplicate.
Absolutely,
so,
or adapt.
Or adapt, yeah. So.
Yeah, oh, that's fantastic. Well, look, I think it's fascinating. And I think that word, that consistency, accountability definitely, but the consistency is without question the most important thing in our industry. We've had we're episode 9, I think we are now, but every single person we've had, that word has been repeated as the key behind everything they do. And without consistency, you're just bouncing around hoping that something works. But a perfect example of this currently is Simon Gates. He is relentless in his consistency. And look at where he was this time last year to where he is now. And goodness knows what his next few steps are. And I think that constant level of repeat, just have faith in the process, trust the process, relentless. And what we say to our guys is we've got, let's say, Nick, who was our first partner agent who came on board, does an amazing job and he sticks with it. He sticks with the program. And even when it feels terrible, because there's a dip in the life cycle of a partner agent, about 5-6 months in, where they go, what have I done? Because it's all going wrong. I've been listening, I've been doing everything I've been told, and it's just not working. And it's at that moment we go, right, trust the process, be consistent, keep doing your thing. I promise you, it's just about to come good. And then poof, all of a sudden.
So a couple of things. Simon Gates is exceptional, absolutely exceptional. And what I love about Simon is when he was an agent, he invested in himself
Yes.
to go and do the training. He then went to Home Search, okay, and learning what he could do to agents. He set up Opening the Gates, and he is relentless in his the podcast, Opening the Gate podcast. I think he's up to
Over 200, hasn't
over 200, which is exceptional. I know he's coming up to his third year of doing it. They come out on a Monday and a Thursday. He does his market reports once a month on LinkedIn. He does his by design stuff as well. So the consistency is there the whole time. Okay, but it's a challenge and it's hard. Okay, but there are people out there that do it. But I think the phrase is people are inconsistently, or they're consistently inconsistent. So
it's one of the only consistencies they have 9 times out.
So
but it's difficult, isn't it? Because who wants to, we're estate agents, we like to do this stuff, we like to go into houses, we like to go and have some fun, and we do the fun stuff, but ideal days and ideal weeks, the Tom Panos situation, that's really boring, isn't it?
But it works. It
but
works.
That's the key, isn't it?
You take Michelle Gallagher, JDG, one of the best agents, won 2 awards in a row with EA Masters. Michelle is consistent. So there's a lesson there, and I know it's a boring cliche, but success leaves clues.
And Simon, in almost exactly the same spot, said exactly the same thing.
There you go. See,
it was Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits, James Clear, fantastic book. And also I interviewed a guy called Jeb Blunt. So we spoke Fanatical Prospecting. Fantastic book, and there's a lesson there, and he just says, you make these calls, and we get no. Get rejected more times than I am at a nightclub getting rejected. But he says it's just not yet. Or actually he goes, you know what, you've made your 20 calls, everybody said no, it's the last call, and that last call is when the magic happens. So, it's be resilient and be consistent and be disciplined.
I have to say that the Fanatical Prospecting is a phenomenal book, and I think it's the most thumbed book in our office. It's definitely, it's done the rounds, and I think, for us, with our partner agents, coming in, learning how to be business owners, learning how to be sort of self-motivating, it's that reminder of that relentless consistency and what the cycle is, and how to keep on top of things and stop the peaks and troughs, and how to make sure that there's a very straightforward level and a constant level.
But also it is understanding that there will be peaks and troughs in your business. And there's something that I learned, so when Sam passed away, I've had therapy, but there's something called what's the evidence.
Okay.
So the evidence is actually you've been through it, you've done it, you've had a really good month. So there will be times where you don't have enough deals in your drawer. Okay, but actually think about it the month before you did. So the evidence is
it can be done.
It can be done. You've agreed sales, you've sold. So actually, let's go back to that. I'm a firm believer of writing all your achievements down. So if you're having a down day, then pick up your phone and actually, do you know what? I've done this. I've sold X amount of properties. I've helped X amount of people move, sellers and buyers. So actually, I do know what I'm doing.
Yeah, proof of concept. You know what we're doing. Yeah, absolutely. Good, okay. Love that, thank you. Here's a left curve ball, or a left turn and a curve ball, or whatever the phrase is.
Okay.
Defibrillators. So let's talk about defibrillators. That's something I didn't expect to be talking about today.
Okay.
So talk us through what's just happened to you recently.
So it's not a conversation I expect to happen, and it's not a conversation I would ever thought would happen. But the reason why we're having this discussion is I want people to be aware. Do you know where your nearest defibrillator is? Because I had a very eventful week a couple of weeks ago.
very few people who don't know
Yeah.
what is a defibrillator.
Okay, so it will literally save somebody's life, or it may not, but it can shock them
Certainly give
into.
them a greater chance.
It will definitely give them a greater chance of living if they have a cardiac arrest or if they have a heart attack.
Episode, I think they call it.
An episode, but I was coming off a cricket pitch, and I was a 70-year-old. Said to me, "I've got a few chest pains. I'm just going to go and take a seat down." So went with him. "Are you okay?" "Don't feel great." "Whatever." "Okay, I'm going to call an ambulance." So I go, no, don't. But I did. And then he was really struggling. Then, because we were at a sports pitch, I went and found the groundsman. I said, is there a defibrillator here just in case? Got the defibrillator, came back, called the ambulance again to say, he's not great. And then literally he just
Killed him.
he killed him.
Wow.
and he had gone. And there were 3 of us there, and I asked, does anybody want to use it? And the answer was no. So I took responsibility. The defibrillator made it easy because everybody knows what I'm like with tech, not the greatest, and worked it all out. The defibrillator talks to you, tells you what to do. So
So it actually talks back. It explains to you
explains
what to put where and how to.
Yeah.
Wow.
So take your shirt off, put where to put the leads, and then it analyse. So actually, in a way, what good estate agents would do, diagnose, and then prescribe a solution, which was great. So then it told me what to do. It said stand away, gave a shock, and then it said, right, here's to give CPR. It doesn't tell you how to do it, but I gave CPR, and fortunately, he woke up.
Wow.
He said, "What's going on?" I said, "Don't worry, you're okay."
Last few minutes have been tested.
Yeah, and then the ambulance came and we got him to Harefield Hospital. They put a stent in and sorted out all his family, and then the doctors came and literally I said, "Do you want me there?" And they said, No, come in. And they said, the doctors basically said, all the consultants, that you've got Stephen to thank because your dad, your father wouldn't be here.
Wow.
So it's not about, thank you, but it's not about me. I just want people to be aware.
Yeah.
Do you know where your defibrillators are in your area? And if you're an estate agent, I'm sure most of you are estate agents watching this, okay, what I would do is put posts in your local Facebook groups and just share with them where the local defibrillators are.
Yeah.
And I know there's Laura Howie of Love Property. She's actually set up a charity in her area.
Okay.
And so far they provided, I think, 4 or 5 defibrillators.
That's a great idea.
And I know that has saved 6 people's lives.
Wow. That's massively powerful.
So thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a really, really important point out there.
It is, isn't it?
And what the doctor said, actually, it could have happened anywhere. I just happened to be at the right place at the wrong time. The right time for him, but the wrong place for me.
Yeah, but one more power to you for thinking on your feet and actually finding out where that is, because most people, as you say, just wouldn't have a clue, would they? Because the awareness. I think those are the yellow and green boxes on a wall that we see around the place from time to time. But to see those, up close, they're scary things. But
it was very, very scary. And actually, there was somebody with me who was in tears, who had used a defibrillator twice before and it hadn't worked.
Oh dear.
So there's no guarantee it will work, but if you know where it is, from my understanding, people have got a better chance of surviving by doing that. So.
Wow, well done you. Well, he doesn't need to just save estate agencies, he saves lives as well. Look at that, fantastic. Well done, that's fantastic. And it's such an important thing as well, but I think sort of tying it in to everything we've talked about, I think that sort of helped people, because I wanted to get you here and I wanted to talk to you today because what I was saying earlier, you ask a lot of questions. You do a lot of the asking. You help people share their information, but very few people know you. Those people who go to conferences and those people who you surround yourself with, and you deliberately make sure that's a nice, neat circle because it's important too.
Yeah.
But actually, I thought it was really important that we got to know you a little bit more, because you do so very much for our industry and so much beyond the industry, clearly, as we've just discussed. That I think some of those causes for my little audience, for whatever it's worth, and a slightly different audience, no less, because we work in a different sort of niche and a different sort of area to the market. My audience is perhaps a little bit different to the norm. It does gives you a different set of eyeballs, maybe. So, well, look, thank you for coming along, Stephen. It was appreciated.
Thank you for
Really
inviting me.
appreciate it.
Really enjoyed it.
And I suppose if there's anything else you want to add in just before we finish up, you've done your heart attacks, you've done your masterminds, you've done your charities, you've done all your other bits and bobs. But no, thank you so much. It's really appreciated.
No, thank you for having me. Really enjoyed it.